chosen one. The fact that your eyes have paused upon these words may be the moment of stillness you have needed for a very long time, because an important truth is drawing near to the threshold of your life, and I want you to be prepared through peace rather than fear. I am Archangel Michael, coming not to take away your freedom of choice, or convince you that leaving even once will cause every good thing to disappear, but to remind you not to continue passing through your own life in a hurried and unconscious state. There have been days when you overlooked your own emotions, left unanswered questions behind, and forced yourself to remain strong, even though you were already exhausted within. Today I want you to slow down, breathe deeply, and listen, because what is about to be revealed may help you understand why certain burdens have followed you for so many years without you ever discovering where they began. You have not seen everything being arranged behind the delays, closed doors, and changes that appeared to carry no meaning. Some things you prayed for have not appeared, not because you were forgotten, but because you needed to heal deeply enough not to lose them once they arrived. Certain relationships had to reveal their true nature. Some truths had to wait until you became mature enough to receive them, and several things that were concealed needed to be opened at a time when you could face them without allowing pain to destroy your peace. I know you once doubted that any miracle was approaching because everything outwardly remained quiet. Yet many great changes make no sound when they first begin. They are like the dawn, quietly fading the darkness before you realize that a new day has already arrived. The cords that have restrained you for so long did not come only from outward circumstances. Some were formed by words others spoke over you, causing you to believe that you were incapable, unworthy of love, or not permitted to hope for a better life. Some were tightened by family shame, by things you were forced to keep hidden, or by the belief that you were responsible for everyone else's peace. Many times you made yourself smaller so that others would not feel uncomfortable, remained silent to avoid conflict, and accepted loss because you believed love meant always is surrendering your portion. But I am reminding you that gentleness does not mean living without boundaries. You can love while still speaking the truth. Forgive without returning to the place that wounded you, and honor your family without continuing to carry burdens that do not belong to you. No paragraph you read contains a mysterious key capable of automatically changing your destiny, but each word may help you rediscover the key that has always remained in your own hand. Discernment, courage, freedom of choice, and the ability to step beyond old patterns. What you are waiting for is not only behind an outward door. Often, the most important door is the one you locked within yourself, because you were afraid to face your pain. When you dare to look back at what wounded you, call what happened by its proper name, and stop accepting blame on behalf of others, that door begins to open. You do not need to uncover every secret in one day, nor force yourself to become strong immediately. You only need to stop running from your true emotions and allow yourself to receive support. Then what once seemed impossible to change will begin to move. Someone within your family is holding a truth you have never heard in full. This person may have remained silent for many years because they feared causing division, feared being blamed, or believed that concealment would allow everyone to continue living peacefully. But prolonged silence does not make a story disappear. It only allows the effects of that story to spread quietly through behavior, distance, and unexplained uneasiness. This person may soon approach you through a conversation, a confession, or one seemingly small detail that is enough to connect scattered memories. You may be surprised, because what is revealed concerns someone you trusted, an event from the past, or the true cause of something that affected your family. When that revelation comes, remember that you do not need to react immediately. Breathe, listen, and give yourself time to discern. Do not let shock become words you will later regret, and do not believe an entire story too quickly, merely because the person telling it is emotional. Ask clear questions, examine the details that can be verified, and listen even for what remains unspoken. The person may be sincere, but their memory may also have been mixed with fear, shame, or the desire to protect themselves. Enduring truth does not fear examination. It does not need you to rush toward a conclusion or immediately take sides. I want you to enter that conversation as a mature person whose heart remains tender while their eyes remain clear. What you hear may hurt you, because truth sometimes breaks the image you trusted for many years. You may become angry because things were hidden from you, grieve because certain memories are not entirely as you once believed, or feel disappointed because someone close to you chose silence. Yet the first breaking is not necessarily the end. An old shell may need to crack so that you can step out of distorted stories that have limited your life. You may cry, need distance, and remain unready to forgive immediately. Do not force yourself to react according to what others expect. Genuine healing is not measured by how quickly you declare that everything is fine. It is measured by your honesty toward the pain, your restoration of boundaries, and your decision not to let what you have learned turn you into a bitter person. If the secret involves betrayal, money, blood relationships, a decision made in the past, or a lie that affected your reputation, handle it carefully. Do not make public what has not been confirmed. Do not use social media to release your anger, and do not turn family pain into a story for people who carry no responsibility for it. Find someone trustworthy to accompany you. If the matter involves rights, legal documents, or property, verify the information through practical means. I do not want you merely to pray while ignoring necessary action. Protection may also be expressed through preserving evidence, seeking appropriate counsel, and refusing to sign or accept anything you do not understand. Beloved child, do not allow anyone to tell you that you must follow a channel, contribute money, or perform an action on a screen in order to preserve heaven's protection. Divine love cannot be purchased with a button, and your future is not locked inside online content. If a message gives you peace, you may save it or share it with someone who needs it, but do so freely, not because you fear that leaving will make the miracle disappear. What truly comes from the light will not threaten you, force you into dependence, or use the fear of losing a blessing to control your choices. I want you to connect with truth through living honestly, caring for yourself, treating others kindly, and keeping your awareness awake, not by surrendering authority over your life to any messenger. The miracle drawing near may not be a brilliant event seen by everyone. It may be freedom from a lie, the answer to a question you have carried for many years, or the moment you realize that you no longer need to carry the consequences of another person's choices. The miracle may also be your family beginning to speak honestly after years of silence. Someone finally accepting responsibility, or you finding the strength to say that this cycle will end here. When you refuse to continue concealing what is wrong while still keeping your hands from retaliation, you open a new path for those who will come after you. Your freedom does not only lighten your own life, it changes the way love, truth, and responsibility are passed through your family. Therefore, my child, remain with peace rather than fear. Do not search for secrets in every person's eyes, and do not suspect every member of your household. When the proper time comes, what needs to be spoken will find its way into the light. Your part now is to prepare a heart strong enough to hear without collapsing, tender enough to understand, yet wise enough not to be manipulated. I will remind you to breathe before reacting, step back before concluding, and choose truth without losing compassion. What is about to come into the light is not arriving to destroy you, but to loosen a knot that has quietly held you in the past. You may feel shaken and may grieve, but afterward you will see more clearly who you are, what truly belongs to you, and what must be returned to those who created it. From there, you will move forward no longer as someone directed by family secrets, but as someone free, peaceful, and courageous enough to build a future upon truth. The inheritance that should have reached you long ago was delayed by obstacles, wrongful interference, and dishonest hands, causing you to wait far longer than you should have endured. I want you to look back upon that road, not with bitterness, but with clarity. Someone may have tried to seize your opportunity, obscure your reputation, delay what was good, or cause others to doubt your value. They may have believed that if they blocked the way long enough, what was meant for you would eventually become theirs. But what is built upon truth cannot belong forever to one who uses darkness to possess it. Some things may be restrained for a season, and certain doors may be deliberately locked by others, but no one has the authority to permanently remove from you what is aligned with an upright path. Last night, within the stillness your physical eyes could not perceive, a judgment of mercy was spoken. It is time to restore to this child what has been awaited for far too long. I, Michael, stood beside you during the years when you believed you had been forgotten. I saw every time you worked hard, but the result was delayed. Every moment when you were qualified yet placed outside, and every occasion when you watched someone else enter a place you had helped build. I know that injustice caused you repeatedly to ask whether kindness still had meaning and whether living honestly was worthwhile, when deceitful people seemed always to advance first. But, beloved child, delay is not proof that you were rejected. Some things needed to be clarified before they could return to their proper place. Certain people needed to expose their motives, some relationships had to leave your path, and truths needed to be confirmed, so that once your portion returned, no one could easily touch it again. Breathe deeply, and do not allow your mind to race toward the question of who sent this reminder. More important than the name is the love that has watched over you from the beginning. A preserving presence accompanied you through the days when you did not yet know how to ask for help, raised you after moments when you believed you had no strength left, and repeatedly pulled you away from paths that appeared attractive but concealed harm. You may call that presence a guardian angel, a protecting hand, or mercy quietly walking beside you. The name matters less than the result. Many times you were preserved from choices that could have damaged your future, warned through a timely uneasiness, or led toward someone who helped you recognize what you had not seen. All of it reminds you that you never walked alone. What I want you to notice today is that the inheritance is no longer the same as it once was. The difficult years matured you, and that maturity enables you to receive more without losing yourself. If what you desired had arrived too early, you might have given it to someone who could not value it, used it to heal a wound in an unhealthy way, or allowed pride to lead you into hasty decisions. But now you understand the value of peace. Know that abundance must be managed responsibly, and recognize that money, position, or recognition has no meaning if it requires you to betray your dignity. Therefore, what was once only a small opportunity may become a wider door. What was delayed may return in a form more appropriate, stable, and capable of helping you build a future that no longer repeats old scarcity. Heaven does not want you to enter the new chapter with empty hands. But neither does it want you to enter with a heart full of resentment. What is being restored is not only material. It also includes honor, confidence, the right to speak, the opportunity to be seen correctly, and the ability to stand in the light without asking permission from those who tried to diminish you. Some things were taken from you through words, slander, unjust decisions, or the silence of those who should have protected you. Now the reordering begins as truth comes forward, as those who doubted you witness the consistency of your life, and as you stop agreeing with the false story others told about you. No one can restore your dignity while you continue giving them the authority to define you. Therefore, let this message become an inward confirmation. Everything taken, blocked, delayed, or falsely spoken about you is being reconsidered in the light of truth. This does not mean everything will return exactly in its former form. Certain relationships do not need to return. Some doors do not need to reopen, and opportunities you once wanted may now be too small for the person you have become. Restoration sometimes does not mean receiving back what was lost, but being given something better until you no longer desire the old thing. The person who rejected you may never apologize, but another environment may recognize your ability. The benefit once delayed may not come from the source you expected, but a new path may provide greater stability. That too is justice, not merely returning you to the starting point, but leading you into a more spacious place. You will first sense the change as the space around you begins to clear. Certain relationships will naturally become distant. People who appeared only when they needed something will no longer enter your life so easily. Work that drained your strength without honoring your value will become so uncomfortable that you can no longer pretend it is suitable. Do not panic when several things leave at once. Clearing often feels empty before a new order forms. You may lose interest in habits you once used to hide sorrow, no longer enjoy conversations filled with negativity, or stop wanting to explain yourself to people determined to misunderstand you. This does not mean you have become cold. It means you are making room for light. However, do not remain passive and wait for the reordering to complete itself without your participation. If documents need examination, examine them carefully. If rights or benefits must be verified, seek professional help and proceed transparently. If an opportunity requires new skills, begin learning. If your reputation has been affected, live consistently and speak calmly when necessary. Heaven does not teach you to use miracles as a substitute for wisdom. Divine help often works together with practical steps. Good advice, completed documents, a clear conversation, or a decision no longer postponed. The more orderly your actions become, the stronger the foundation upon which what belongs to you can remain. I also want you to protect your heart from the desire for revenge. When what was concealed is revealed, you may want those who blocked you to experience the pain they caused. But if you enter the new chapter still controlled by hatred, then even though the door opens, you are not truly free. Allow truth to handle what belongs to truth. Your focus must be on building, healing, and using what is given in a good way. Justice does not always appear as punishment you personally witness. Sometimes justice simply means they no longer have access to you, no longer possess the power to stop your steps, and no longer speak with enough authority to make you doubt yourself. That alone is a great deliverance. Therefore, beloved child, enter the coming days with alert eyes and an unhurried heart. What is being arranged is not only meant to compensate for the past, but to prepare you for the future. Receive abundance with gratitude, but do not forget the days when you lacked. Use stability to protect your family. Help those who are vulnerable. Build something valuable, and create opportunities you once did not have. True inheritance is not only found in what you retain, but also in the good you are able to pass forward. I saw you waiting, saw you being obstructed, and saw you continue preserving kindness when you had every reason to become bitter. Now allow what belongs to you to reach someone mature enough to receive it. Everything is being returned to its proper place, not to make you superior to others, but so that at last you may walk in the fullness, peace, and clarity you waited so long to experience. The time has come for you to answer the call, touching your heart with sincere agreement. Not through a passing emotion, but through a decision to stand firmly in faith. If you speak the word, Amen, let it arise from the deepest part of you as a confirmation that you no longer wish to run from truth, return to what exhausted you, or allow fear to determine the road ahead. Genuine agreement is not magic that instantly removes every difficulty. It is the moment you declare that you are ready to walk with God even before seeing the whole path. When you say Amen, you open your heart to be guided, corrected, and led beyond limits you once believed you could never cross. I am Michael, and I want you to understand that your answer does not need to be loud in order to be heard. What matters is not whether others see it, but whether your heart is sincere. You may say it in a quiet room, during a sleepless night, or while your eyes remain filled with tears. Say that you are willing to receive what God desires to teach you, even if it requires releasing an old road. Say that you trust His timing, even though waiting has made you weary many times. Say that you will not allow previous failures to persuade you that the future must repeat the same story. Your Amen is not a signature upon a contract, forcing heaven to fulfill your wishes. It is your commitment not to resist renewal when it begins. Beloved child, the illumination prepared for you has only begun to open. Things you once regarded as coincidence are gradually connecting into a clearer picture. Some doors remained closed so long that you believed you had been forgotten. But the silence was not evidence that God had moved away. In places you could not see, many things were being adjusted, relationships were being filtered, and what no longer belonged in your new journey was losing its power to hold you. Your name was not mentioned in a court of condemnation, but in recognition of someone who endured much and still continued seeking the light. The mark of victory does not mean you will never face another battle. It means those battles are not permitted to write the ending of your life. I tell you that the season of delay is losing its strength. What you lost may not return in its former form, because certain things would only recreate the old pain if restored exactly as they were. Genuine restoration does not always mean receiving the same person, place, or opportunity for which you once prayed. Sometimes it means receiving something better, cleaner, and more suitable for who you are today. Parts of you were taken away through betrayal, disappointment, and words that caused you to question your worth. Now what is first being restored is your courage, discernment, and ability to believe that you are worthy of a peaceful life. When these return, you will no longer search for validation from those who once broke you. You may sense opposition increasing as you approach a turning point. Old habits suddenly call you back, memories become vivid again, and someone who remained silent may appear precisely when you begin moving forward. Do not panic. Darkness often becomes louder when it realizes it is losing influence, yet do not allow urgency to make you careless. One wrong step cannot erase the whole plan God has for you, but haste may cause you to travel a longer road. Therefore, remain calm, examine every invitation, observe every action, and do not restore access to anyone, merely because they know how to say what you want to hear. The voice I use to remind you will not lead you into panic, but back to truth. If a message frightens you so deeply that you cannot think, stop and seek peace before acting. Guidance from God may be firm and urgent, but it always opens a clear way forward. You do not need to understand why these words have reached you today. Perhaps you passed over similar messages before, but this time something within caused you to stop. Do not dismiss that as mere coincidence, but neither should emotion become your only evidence. Let these words be confirmed through changes in your life, through the clarity you receive, and through decisions that bear the fruit of peace. Your destiny is unlike anyone else's because no one has passed through the exact nights you endured, carried the same wounds and hopes, or spoken prayers identical to yours. You were known before the world could assign a name to your value. You were preserved through many things. You still do not understand how you survived. There were times you believed you were close to collapse, yet an unseen strength lifted you. Some doors that appeared favorable suddenly closed, and only later did you realize that the rejection preserved you from a painful road. Heaven's protection does not always look like victory. Sometimes it appears as delay, separation, or a plan that does not succeed. I watched you during the nights when you did not know what to do, and every prayer seemed to return only silence. I saw the days when you had nothing left to say, yet continued working, caring for others, and appearing fine while you were empty within. You believed no one recognized the battle, but not one of your tears became meaningless. Even during your weakest moments, you were being preserved in ways you could not see. Certain harmful intentions were prevented from advancing. Words directed against you lost their power before reaching their intended destination. People who wanted to enter your life with dishonest motives were stopped by circumstances beyond their control. The weight you carried was not proof that you had been abandoned. It was part of preparation. But I do not want you to misunderstand and believe that every suffering must be endured forever. Some burdens taught you perseverance, but others must now be put down. You cannot enter the new season while carrying the responsibility of people who refuse to mature. You cannot receive freedom while regarding pain as so familiar that you are afraid to leave it. God has not prepared you to continue suffering in the old way. He has prepared you to recognize when to stand, when to leave, and when to open your heart to support. Therefore, let your amen become a way of life. Say amen by abandoning delay, completing what you know must be done, and refusing to return to places that repeatedly proved they did not respect you. Say Amen when you establish boundaries without hatred, choose peace rather than argument, and trust that a closed door does not mean the future has ended. Let your agreement enter your words, habits, the way you manage what has been given to you, and the way you treat yourself. Beloved child, something greater than you can imagine is being prepared, but that gift must first find a willing heart. Do not merely wait for circumstances to change. Allow the person within you to be renewed. Do not only pray for what was lost to return. Ask for wisdom to recognize what is truly worthy of returning. Do not fear the battle around you, because you do not fight alone. I stand near with the sword of truth, not to make you live in anger, but to sever the cords that have restrained you for too long. Stand firmly, offer your agreement in peace, and move forward. You have not been forgotten, abandoned, or defined by silent seasons. Preparation is ending, delay is giving way, and you are being led into a road where your strength, discernment, and faith will become a worthy vessel for the good things about to be entrusted to you.